Night fell heavy over Odogba. The market was nearly empty except for the sound of crickets and the distant noise of Danfo buses. Ezin sat in her small rented room, her laptop glowing in the dark. On her screen were photos of missing children, police reports, and a folder named Maduka Investigation. She whispered to herself, "If I'm right about this man, then he's not just a seller, he's a monster." The next morning, she returned to the market disguised as a customer again, this time with a small hidden camera inside her handbag. Maduka greeted her warmly. "My beautiful sister, you came back again. My soup must have caught your heart." Ezin forced a smile. "Yes, brother. But I want to watch you cook it today. Maybe I'll learn from you." Maduka laughed nervously. "Oh, it's secret, oh. But no problem, sit and enjoy." He turned to his pot, but as he reached under the table for his ingredients, his hand brushed against the small black jar. His heart skipped. It was Arusi's charm powder. He looked back, Ezin was still smiling. But she noticed his fear. Later that night, after the market closed, Maduka went to Arusi's shrine again. The air smelled of blood and burnt herbs. The witch doctor's face was half hidden in the candlelight. "Arusi," Maduka said, sweating. "Someone is watching me." "A woman. She asks too many questions." Arusi's voice was cold. "Then she must join the others." Maduka froze. "You mean?" "Yes," Arusi hissed. "Bring her to me before she brings death to you." Maduka nodded, but his chest burned with fear. He had killed strangers, but never someone who looked him in the eyes with kindness. When he got home, Amoka was waiting. "What's wrong with you?" she asked, noticing his trembling hands. "Nothing," he muttered. She frowned. "You think I don't know what you've been doing? You think I don't smell it on you, the blood, the fear?" Maduka looked up sharply. "You knew." Amoka's eyes were hard. "Of course. Did you think those new clothes and cars came from heaven? I told you to find money. You did. Now don't lose it." He stared at her in disbelief. "You made me do this." Amoka smirked. "No, Maduka. You chose it. The gods only take what men are willing to offer." The next evening, Ezin returned again, pretending to order her usual bowl. Maduka served her kindly, but his hands shook as he reached for the powder. She noticed. As he turned to fetch water, Ezin switched the bowl, replacing her own with an empty one she'd brought. When Maduka came back, she smiled. "I'll take it to go." He nodded, relieved. But that relief didn't last long. Because when Ezin left the market, 3 policemen were waiting in her car. That night, they returned together to the market, quietly, in the dark. They watched as Maduka closed his stall and carried a small sack through the back gate. "Follow him," Ezin whispered. He walked through the narrow alley until he reached the abandoned house near the river. When the officers burst in, the stench of death hit them. Inside were bones, small clothes, and jars of preserved organs. Maduka screamed, "It's not what you think. Arusi made me do it. Arusi." But when they looked around, Arusi was gone. The shrine had vanished. Only ashes remained. News spread like wildfire the next day. Maduka the pepper soup seller arrested, human flesh found. Crowds filled the market, shouting curses. Amoka tried to flee but was caught by angry traders. "You knew," they shouted. "You are as evil as your husband." She was dragged away screaming. Maduka sat in his prison cell, his once proud face now broken. When Ezin visited, he wouldn't lift his head. "Why?" she asked softly. "You could have been great. Why throw your soul away for money?" Maduka looked up slowly, eyes red. "Because hunger makes a man forget his name. Because my wife wanted gold more than peace. Because I believed a liar." Ezin shook her head. The devil never gives gifts, he only lends them. He sighed, whispering, tell them not to eat my soup again. That night in prison, Maduka heard a whisper. The air turned cold. From the darkness, Arusi appeared, his yellow eyes glowing. You failed me, Maduka, the witch doctor said, voice like thunder. You let the secret die. Now, your soul is mine. Maduka screamed as shadows rose around him. When the guards opened the cell in the morning, he was gone. Only a pool of pepper soup remained, steaming hot, with a faint human smell. Ezin stood outside, watching as the prison officers murmured prayers. She turned to the sky and whispered. Evil may hide for a while, but truth never sleeps. Months later, Ezin published her story, The Evil Pepper Soup Seller of Odogba. It became the talk of the nation. Schools used it as a lesson, and parents warned their children never to eat from strangers. At the end of her article, Ezin wrote, Greed turns kindness into cruelty. Pride blinds the heart. And deceit poisons even the sweetest soup.